The hospital Noah had always been a sickly child. Pale skin, thin limbs, and a heart murmur that made doctors frown in silence. By the time he was 9, he knew the hallways of St. Mary's Children's Hospital better than his own house. His mother, a nurse herself, stayed by his side every night, reading stories from fairy tale books, pretending everything would be fine. But nothing was fine, and it all started to fall apart when Noah was transferred to room 407, a room they never used unless the hospital was full. The nurse who wheeled him and looked nervous. "Strange noises come from here sometimes," she whispered, half joking. Noah smiled weakly. "Like what?" She leaned down. "Children talking. Laughter. But the room is always empty." That night, his mother had to leave early for work. Noah was alone, staring at the dark ceiling, when he heard it. A giggle, then another. He sat up. The room was cold, too cold. The lights flickered briefly. He looked toward the corner. There was a figure, small, standing in the dark. A child, maybe his age, smiling. "Do you want to play?" the boy asked. Noah's throat closed up. "Who are you?" The boy tilted his head. "You'll see." Then he vanished. The game begins. The next morning, doctors couldn't find anything strange. Noah said nothing. Who would believe him? But that night, the same boy returned. This time he brought friends. 3 more children, pale and smiling, dressed in old, dusty clothes. One of them was missing an eye. Another floated slightly above the floor. "We want to show you something," they said in unison. A blink later, Noah was no longer in room 407. He was standing in a foggy field, in his hospital gown, barefoot. Ahead of him, a rusted gate, swinging open. Behind it, a decaying amusement park. The sign read, "Lunar Park, forever fun." Noah's breath caught in his throat. "I can't be here," he said. The one-eyed girl whispered, "You already are." Lunar Park. The place was silent. Not a sound except the creaking of old rides swaying in the wind. Noah stepped through the gate. The smell hit him, like metal and rotting candy. They led him past the carousel. The horses were cracked, some missing heads. One of them slowly turned toward him, on its own. Next, they passed the game booths. Stuffed animals, with their eyes ripped out. Clown dolls slumped over the counters. A rubber duck tank, filled with dark red water. Noah turned. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because it's your turn," the first boy said. "Every child who dies in room 407 comes here." Noah froze. "I'm not dead." "You will be. Soon. And when you are, you stay here. Forever." The ride. They led him to the center of the park. There stood a towering ride. The Screamer. A roller coaster twisted in impossible angles, looping in and out of black tunnels. There was no operator, no sounds, just the ride. Waiting, the kid smiled wider. "This is the last thing you feel. Before you fade." Noah backed away. "No, I want to go home." "You can't go back. You're already slipping." The boy with no feet floated toward him. "The only way out is to beat the park." "Beat it how?" "You survive the ride. If you do, you wake up. If you don't, you stay with us." Noah looked at the coaster again. The cars were rusty, streaked with something dry and dark. He climbed in. The trial. As the restraints clicked shut, the ride jolted forward. There were no screams, no laughter, just silence. The coaster climbed. The air turned heavy. The sky was a sickly green. Noah saw visions in the distance. His hospital bed, his mother crying, a flatlining heart monitor. The drop came. It felt endless. His ears bled. His skin burned. Shadows whispered in his ears. Laughing, he blacked out. Awakening. Noah gasped awake, back in room 407. Alone, the heart monitor beeped steadily. His mother burst in, crying, hugging him. You stopped breathing. For 2 whole minutes. Doctors called it a miracle. Noah never told anyone what he saw. But sometimes, at night, he hears it again. The creaking of a Ferris wheel, the distant music of a carousel. And when he closes his eyes, he sees a gate rusty, waiting, with a sign above it. Lunar Park, we're still waiting. The returning prologue. It had been 4 years since Noah woke up in room 407.4 years since he saw the children, since he heard the laughter, since he rode the screamer in Lunar Park. He was 13 now, healthier, stronger. No more hospital beds, no more monitors, just silence. But silence wasn't peace. Not for Noah, because every night, the dreams came back. The rusty gate, the carousel turning by itself, the whispers. You survived, but you never left. The clock strikes again. It began again on his birthday. His mother baked a cake. His friends sang. And for a few precious minutes, he felt like a normal kid that night. He sat alone in his room, staring at the old stuffed bear he brought home from the hospital. It blinked. Once Noah froze. The bear's stitched mouth twitched, then a soft whisper escaped it. It's time to return. He threw the bear in the trash. But the next morning, it was back on his bed, smiling. Strange shadows. The signs escalated. His bedroom mirror started to fog over. Even when it wasn't cold once, he wiped the glass and saw a different room reflected behind him. Not his bedroom, not the hospital, but a dark hallway filled with balloons, and something crawling along the walls that he told his mother. She booked therapy, but the dreams grew stronger. And one night, Noah didn't wake up. Between 2 worlds, he found himself in a long, dark corridor. The wallpaper peeled like old skin. Above him, flickering fluorescent lights hummed a broken tune at the end of the hallway. The door to room 407, he opened it inside. A carousel stood in the center of the room, turning. Slowly. Alone. And sitting on one of the horses, the one-eyed girl. You left before the ride ended, she said. You broke the rule. I survived. Noah shouted. She leaned forward. No, Noah. You only paused. We've been waiting for you. Lunar Park reborn. The hospital melted around him. The hallway stretched and twisted until it became a bridge, leading once again to Lunar Park. But it wasn't abandoned anymore. It was alive. Lights blinked erratically. Music boxes played off-key lullabies. Cotton candy machines spewed ash instead of sugar. Children ran between the rides, hollow-eyed, giggling. But their faces were blurred, smeared like wet paint. Noah stepped through the gate. The sign had changed. Welcome back, Noah. Let's finish what you started. The new ride. They led him to a new attraction. A massive tent, striped red and black, rising like a breathing beast from the center of the park. The name above it. The Mirror Maze. The screamer was your trial, the floating boy said. This is your judgment. Noah stepped inside. Mirrors lined every wall, but none showed his reflection. Instead, each showed a version of himself. One with blood dripping from his eyes, one lying still in the hospital bed, one laughing manically, surrounded by screaming children. Every version of you is possible here, whispered a voice behind the glass. "Which one are you becoming?" The echoes. He ran through the maze, panic rising. The corridors bent in impossible directions. Some led to endless loops, others to rooms. Each room showed a moment from his past. A nurse whispering to another, "He won't make it through the night." His mother sobbing in a hospital chair. Himself alone, clutching the bear as machines beeped. But then, rooms from a future that never happened. His grave, overgrown and forgotten, a classroom seat with his name. Empty. His mother, older, still waiting by a phone that never rings. The voice beneath the park. At the heart of the maze, he found it. A black well from it, a voice called out, deep, ancient, echoing like 1,000 whispers in a canyon. "You escaped our world, but you still belong to it." Noah screamed. "I'm alive," the voice hissed. "For now. But even the living must choose. Run from fear, or rule it then." The ground cracked. Hands reached out from the mirrors. Children's voices filled the air. "Join us. Rule with us. Never be alone again." The choice. A mirror in front of him lit up. This time, it showed him normal. Happy. In his room. Alive, but alone. Another mirror showed him dark-eyed. Still in Lunar Park, but powerful. The others bowing. The voice offered him a final deal. Return to the world of the living and forget this place, or stay and become the keeper of Lunar Park. Noah looked around, the laughter, the screams, the silence, and chose. Epilogue 1 year later. A new child arrives at St. Mary's Children's Hospital. He's pale, sick, alone. The nurses whisper about an unused room finally being reopened. Room 407, the child lies awake that night and hears it. The soft creak of a carousel, the faint whisper of a voice. "Do you want to play?" And outside the hospital window, far in the distance, a Ferris wheel turns. Some stories never really end. Just like Lunar Park. If this tale sent chills down your spine, don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying journeys and tell us in the comments. Would you survive room 407? Your story might be next.